Hey guys, what's going on? So in today's video, we're actually talking about how you can actually own an Airbnb business without actually having property or with you owning that property. Let's get into the video right now. If you are new here, definitely subscribe. I talk about ways for you to get paid and to save. I also can provide you with stimulus updates, and I will provide you with any business related or important news articles that I find. So how can you actually get started being an Airbnb host? Where do you even start? The very first things first you need to do is find the location. Are you looking for a location within your city that you live in, or are you looking elsewhere? If you're looking in a city that you live in and you're already pretty familiar with the city, then you kind of already know what locations are hot for tourists. For instance, if you live in the Nashville area, you know anywhere downtown, East Nashville, something like that is good. If you live in Orlando, you know places like near Disney or maybe closer to the beach or a beach area, or just anywhere, any of the hot spots where you know tourists are going to go. That needs to be where you need to start looking for your property. Your property needs to be what I consider Airbnb friendly. What do I mean? There are so many rules and restrictions with a lot of communities regarding Airbnbs. Just because it's blown up so much, there were investors that were going out buying homes just to Airbnb them, and they're still doing that now, that it kind of forced communities or different subdivisions to have provisions on it that may say, hey, you can have Airbnb, but you can only Airbnb your home out twice a month or 3 times a month or something like that, just to keep the community up and lifted and not feel so touristy. It became such a headache for people that lived in that community to have all of these visitors coming and going. And you know, when you're on vacation, you might tend to stay up a little later, playing loud music, having parties or get-togethers, depending on where the house is or where the location is. And for the normal neighbors in that neighborhood, probably hate that. I could see how if my next door neighbor's house was an Airbnb, that would probably become an issue at some point. So that's kind of where you want to start. You want to start with researching the areas, making sure the area you choose is Airbnb friendly, looking at any restrictions, any rules that they may have about doing Airbnb. A lot of condos will have those rules and regulations too, where you can't even sublease your apartment out. If you don't live there, then oh well, you cannot sublease your apartment out. You'll be fined, even evicted. So definitely look into that and make sure that you are keeping that in mind when you're making your decision on a property. So in the event that you already own a property or you already have a property in mind, you're like, sis, I've already done all that work, then you'll need to make sure you have the proper insurance. Any type of vacation home insurance, rental insurance is what you'll probably need. Airbnb has their own insurance, but you'll want to also use a separate one too. I still feel like it's a 2-for-1 deal. I'd rather have rentals insurance, and I'd also want to have Airbnb's insurance as well. So those are kind of 2 things that you would keep just in case something isn't covered under one policy, it could be covered under another. Now, after you've picked a location, you've researched the rules and regulations, you've found the actual property and went ahead and either purchased it or rented it out so that you can sublease it. You've also gotten insurance. The last thing you'll need to do is apply to be a host. Once you've applied to be a host on the Airbnb app, you'll just need to put in your information. A lot of times in different cities, you also need to get a certification. You might have to go to a government building to get that. Again, different cities have different things, so you'll need to research that on your own, just because it's very widely different in all the different cities. And once you've done that, you've gotten the green light, the thumbs up from Airbnb. Post high quality pictures on your website. Post high quality pictures of the property. If you need to get professional pictures, this might be something to invest in, just because if you have those professional pictures, it will sell a lot faster than if you don't. You want the pictures to be updated though, because you don't want to get a bad review. Everybody knows those reviews where they say, oh, the pictures were so beautiful online, but I got there and it looks nothing like that. So you want to make sure your pictures are realistic, but they're also very crisp, they're very clean, they make the house look very light and very open. Go ahead and start to make your price a little bit lower than what the competition is in your area. Airbnb has a feature that will show you about what the Airbnbs in that area are pricing for, and they'll base it onto like your home. So similar homes to yours, similar condos to yours. Here's how much they usually go for a night. Here's how many people they hold. It'll give you all that information. It's kind of like a similar, or here's what's going on in the area. If I were you, I would price mine, especially the first few months. I would make my prices, my nightly rates, a little bit lower, probably by $50 to $60 for the first 5 to 10 people, and really go above and beyond for those first 5 to 10 people, because you want them to leave you a 5-star review. At this point, since this is a new Airbnb, it's going to be harder for you to rank and get it because you don't have any reviews. And what do you think people do when they go to Airbnb? They're going to read the reviews. They're going to look and see, okay, this place is 4.8 out of 5 and it's got 100 reviews. It might be okay. So you're going to want to make sure those first 5 to 10 people that stay in your Airbnb are more prominent to leave you a 5-star review so that you can rank better. Once that happens, after the first 3 to 4 months, you should be at a place where, depending on the area you are, you're getting more and more and more and more views. You're getting more and more people actually booking your Airbnb, and you're making a little bit of money on the side. Now again, you are able to do this when you are renting, depending on the location, depending on if you don't want to actually own the vehicle, you don't want to take out a mortgage, you just want an apartment and then you want to sublease that. But you'll still need to pay attention to some of the restrictions that that apartment building or that condo building or that community has, because if not, you could catch yourself in a situation where you are fined for having an Airbnb. You're not supposed to have one. You could potentially get evicted and then you lose all your money and it just doesn't become worth it. I hope this video helped you, and I hope that it made it a little bit more clear on how you can actually start an Airbnb business with or without owning a property. And if you do have an Airbnb business, tell me how much money you make. I'm actually interested in getting into that business right now. I think that it's very profitable, and me and my husband may look into purchasing a home or even a condo in a specific area and just Airbnb-ing it out. We'll see what happens. I will catch you guys next time. Bye guys.